What is going on, Movie Mills? Movie Mills, we back, baby. We back. And hey, just in case you didn't know, the One Piece, it is real. It's real. Go after it. All right. Pay your actors, pay your writers. It sounds like the studios are kind of close. Maybe. I think Kyle and I didn't actually talk about. Did we talk about? Is that part of the show today?
Yeah, that's at the top. Do we want to just talk about it now?
Well, first, thank you to the Movie Mill patrons. Got to thank the ones that pay some money here, Kimberly and Karen. Go join the patronage, all that stuff, and go support the writers, help them out, and the actors. But yeah, let's. We're still doing the giveaway as well for the hoodie.
Yep.
Can't forget to the goal here. The 2,000 subs would be amazing. Help us do that. Yeah. So Kyle, take it away here as the man. I'm a little under the weather. Apologize, but let's get into it here. Might be a shorter episode. We'll see how fast we rattle through all these. But
yeah, you never know. Could be short. Could be fast. Could be any sort of size. These episodes. I don't know what I'm talking about. Let's get started. All right. So for context, we are recording this on Sunday, September 24th, and back on Wednesday, it was being reported that the CEOs came in person to negotiate with the Writers Guild in order to come up with what they say is a better and final deal, which we will talk about the terminology of that in a moment. I'm sure Alex has thoughts, because I remember him talking about it yesterday with some of us in a group chat, and it made me laugh a lot because he is so right. But anyway, so initially, when it was being reported on Wednesday, they thought this deal would get done on Thursday, which I think was
it's
very... And it's Sunday now, exactly. But it is sounding like there is movement. And at least last I've been reading, the Writers Guild is having lawyers look at like the terminology and if everything looks good on the deal. So I'm assuming this deal will go into effect. I haven't been able to find any details about it, and we probably won't know until after a deal has been signed. I thought I read somewhere that it is going to be a 3-year deal, at least make this short term and not long term. But I haven't been able to find like where I read that from, so please take that with a grain of salt. We aren't going to know for sure until everything's been signed and dotted. So at least it looks like progress is being made and it's not looking like, there's so much chaos like the last few times when they tried to come in with the deal and the Writers Guild is like, this is crap. So, this is good news, but I also wonder, does this mean for the actors side of things, will a deal come immediately afterwards? Because I'm sure like the writers aspect of it has been the toughest part when it comes to studios negotiating with the working class. But at least it is a good sign that there is good movement happening and we're not just at a continued stalemate. So hopefully after this is recorded, we will hear that a deal is done, and hopefully it is very fair for the writers, because that's the most important part. So Alex, what do you think about this?
is the thing that made you laugh me talking about the studios were like, this is the final offer we will give you. We're the studios. This is the final offer. And it's like, what do you mean it's the final offer? If we don't like it, we're going to tell you no. And then you have no choice but to come back to the table. Nobody wants to watch your AI horse crap. No one. I'm sitting here. I talked about it last week. We were watching How I Met Your Mother. Finished How I Met Your Mother. Phenomenal. Watch that and you go, how AI can't do this. AI can't be this clever. Now I'm watching Avatar: The Last Airbender because it's an absolute banger, 10 out of 10. And True. I'm sitting there like, an AI can't write this. An AI can't write this. They can't write it because AI sucks. Yeah, I'm talking to you, computer. You suck.
Talking to you, Siri.
You got no
Alexa.
Yeah. Hey, don't say that too loud. She's right here. She's listening. Anyway, I think that's just dumb. This is our final offer.
Yeah,
they're
it was
only
dumb.
using that as some sort of tactic. There's no tactic. If it sucks, dude, you're going up against Fran Drescher. You're going up against the nanny. You got nothing. You think
she's gonna take that?
Well, I guess she's for the actors, but It makes sense. Obviously, I think most people, when you say it makes sense for them to get the deal done with the writers first, people are like, well, yeah, the strike's been going on longer. And obviously, yes. But if you're in the spot of the studio, you want to get people writing again and writing content. You can then take the time while they're figuring out scripts and everything to then work with the actors. But they all need to be paid. This is a bit ridiculous that we're still here. I mean, the strike has gone on forever. So many shows that had either promise or were really good have been canceled. I mean, I just finished season 2 of Winning Time on HBO.
Winning
It's a
Time.
phenomenal show, and it's canceled. It should continue for season 3. And I love the memes where everybody's like, it left us on the cliffhanger. Will the Lakers beat the Celtics? And it's like, bro, it's all history.
I know, but it's just so much fun to
It's
watch.
such a good show. It's a great
It's such
show.
a good show.
And it's just ridiculous. I hope they do strike a deal. I hope the writers get everything they want and more, because they deserve it. We need to get writers back doing what they do best, and that's writing great original content.
And getting paid accordingly.
They need to be paid. You're sitting there watching stuff. I finally got kicked off Netflix. Ridiculous with your password sharing crackdown. Ridiculous.
Wow.
I never watch anything on Netflix. It finally hit when I actually was watching Sex Education. But stop with this. I'm going to have to pay $7 this month just to finish a show and then cancel it. Netflix, pay your writers. There's no reason I should be on Avatar and those guys aren't getting residuals. There's no reason that all those voice actors, all the people on all these shows shouldn't be getting residuals. You're just greedy little turd monkeys who think you're so cool because you have money. Oh, I work so hard. Everybody works hard, bruh. I don't know what you're talking about. So, yeah. Anyway, Kyle, thoughts, concerns, questions, answers?
I just hope that I just hope that when we hear details about the deal that's not the right way to phrase that. When we hear about the details, I hope to hear very good news on the writer's side of things. I would imagine that because they are having lawyers look over the wording of things, and it sounds like we're getting this close to it happening, that it is seemingly fair on that side, which is good. I wonder about the details of how the residuals are going to be based upon, like especially when it comes to streaming. That's been like the biggest factor when it comes to how residuals are being sent towards the writers. I wonder how they're now going to be tallied differently, so that way the wages are much more fair for the writers' end of things. And I also wonder how the deal is going to look when it comes to the usage of AI, because I feel like I have a feeling that's not going to be like gone and forgotten about. I would think that the studios are really going to make sure that AI is utilized at least even a little bit, which I don't really like. I doubt that the writers and actors would really like, or at least for the writers, we don't know anything about the actors and what deal that'll happen with yet. But for the writers, maybe it's possible that they're going to have to just put up with that and just accept that AI is going to be a tool for them in the writing process, but the residuals are going to make up for it. Again, that's just my guess and speculation. That's just what I'm curious about most when it comes to this, but I just am having a little breath of relief that it looks like this is going to happen, although anything could change as of this recording. We could suddenly hear of two sides still going at war with each other. We just don't know yet, but hopefully that's not the case.
Yeah, I maybe the deal is just the writers get what they want and they say, okay, you can make AI content, but it has to be like, we can't be involved at all unless it's based off of something we've done, obviously. But like, are you telling me I'm gonna watch an AI generated Star Wars show when Dave Filoni could be writing the scripts? I mean, Dave Filoni's putting out bangers. Like, what are we talking about here? This is ridiculous. Don't shake your head, you little turd. Kyle's
bangers.
Such a cynic. As soon as COVID hit, Kyle lost all sense of good content.
COVID has awakened me. It has made me look at the world from a different view.
God. All right, what's next on the docket here? What's talking about?
Well, how about we jump over to another industry, similar thing to mention. Marvel's VFX workers have taken to a vote, and they are going to unionize. So
good. It
is sounding like they also are trying to get a deal done with Marvel Studios, so that way they can get better work time. The deadlines aren't as tight. I haven't really heard much else since the vote came into effect, but I wonder if it's going to cause a trickle-down effect for other VFX companies or who work with different studios or different companies outside of the studios, if that also will start to happen with them. I just wonder if that trickle-down effect will happen, but at the very least, good, because Marvel is clearly working them way too hard, and the results just aren't happening when it comes to the movies. They all look like garbage now. So, yeah, good for the workers. I really hope a new deal comes into effect, and it's a lot better for everyone, and, yeah, just better work environment for them. That'd be great.
I think Loki in a couple weeks will be interesting to see if the VFX still look bad, because I think at times Quantumanium looked bad. I think at times Doctor Strange looked bad. Oh, I dropped
Sure.
something. But the only thing that I think has truly looked bad from start to finish was She-Hulk. Everything else has had moments that don't look good. They're using the volume a lot, especially over in Star Wars.
Too much.
But, well, I mean, it just depends on the budget. If the budget's good enough, you can make anything look good. I mean, look at Avengers Endgame. It's tough to, it's a weird comparison because you just need the money. If you're not going to have the money, don't use the volume. Go out and shoot on location more. But shooting on location's fun. But yeah, the
it looks
VFX
great.
artists should not be being worked to the bone. They should unionize because then they should be getting what they want. I don't necessarily, I mean, I know there's a whole political ideology around unions and not unions, and it's like I think people should get paid for their work and their fair work and not be overworked because that's stupid and old-fashioned and dumb. So pay what they should be doing. Don't overwork them. People deserve to see their families. Big Bob Iger gets to go see his family all the time. So I feel
in one
like
of his 12 mansions.
should too. Yeah. Big Bobby Iger. Ridiculous.
That's another thing, actually. Can we go back to the
Bob?
writers' negotiations with the studios?
Sure.
I don't know if you saw it, but I first saw it reported on CNBC, and I loved how they described that the CEOs, they did what people thought they couldn't do. They cleared their calendars, they walked in themselves, and they were going to stay there. They were going to be part of the negotiations, and good on them for doing that, right? Good on them for clearing their schedules of not going out and house hunting for a mansion.
Yeah, that was all the studio heads calling up their buddies who run a lot of these sites and saying, give us some good favor. Good for you showing up to a meeting because you're getting absolutely whooped on the court is what's happening. You're getting whooped. Okay?
They're tired of being bullied.
As Coach Prime said the other day, a good old-fashioned butt kicking. That's what's happening to the studios. They're getting a good old-fashioned butt kicking. Oh, so good for you, Bob Iger, Bobby boy. So good for you clearing your schedule. If I was the head CEO of Disney, I would have sat down day one with the writers and said, what do you need? Why are we not? I want my business to be successful. So how do I make that successful? I have good employees who do a great job and get paid fairly. Boom. Put me in charge. Are you kidding me? I dominate.
Yeah. No, this whole thing has just been eye-opening for me about how
studios suck.
Yeah, just how careless, manipulative, horrible people that they just are, and the people around them probably are too. So just take note, everyone. Just because you like a show doesn't mean you have to like a company. Doesn't mean you have to like a brand. Because behind the scenes, there could be horrible people running things. So
they all suck.
They all suck. Even if you like a show, keep that in mind. That's all I'm saying.
Imagine how old Bob would have been in those meetings. He would have sat out and be like, look at the numbers. I'm a numbers guy. Look at the numbers. Look at the numbers with his bald.
The numbers say AI is the future.
Okay. Being bald's okay. AI's the future. Aren't you looking at the numbers? This is what people want. People are watching AI content. And then Bob Iger's like, hey, they're not, but I'm also not going to pay you. And the writer's like, we're asking for, aren't they asking for like 0.02%? It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Give them.
Come on, that's mansion money.
You kidding me? Give them 10%. Are you kidding me? It's ridiculous. A bunch of little cry baby boys. Oh, that's all they are. Just a bunch of cry babies. I want my money. I want my money. I worked so hard for this money.
Handkerchief of cash.
Yeah. I worked so hard. Nobody's saying you didn't work hard for your money, pal. Pay your employees fairly.
But we're
that
also
goes for VFX
Yes.
artists too. It's ridiculous.
All right. Well, we've talked about that enough. Let's talk about Star Wars, huh? It wouldn't be the Movie Meals podcast without Star Wars talk. You ready, Al?
Yeah, BB-8's right there. There's Baby Yoda's little Grogu. There's Yoda, the goat. There's Mike. We got a table the other day. We've been playing Bananagrams. I'm up 7-2. Just a dominator.
What do you want to start with, Lando or Del Toro?
I'm going to start with neither. I think Ahsoka should have been a movie. And the more I watch it, the more I think it would have flowed so much better as a movie to see in theaters. End of discussion. Lando becoming a movie and not a show is smart because I think Bob Iger is doing exactly what I just said. I think, look, we just flacked on Bob. You're going to be right twice a day, whatever that saying is. He came in and said, we're making too many Star Wars and Marvel shows. We need to be putting these back in the theaters. And I do think that is smart. I think that's correct. Look, Mando was really cool, but I was literally watching Ahsoka sitting there going, I don't want to see this on my little screen. And I got a big TV, but I was like, I don't want to watch this on here. I want to go to the theater and watch this. I want to have a popcorn. I want to be really, truly sucked into this experience because it deserves it. It's written for it. So I think that is smart that Lando's a movie. Donald Glover, I just saw an interview with him not that long ago that he said he was still interested in it. It sounds like he was working on scripts before the strike and everything. So he's probably just taken a break from it until obviously they're back on. I think that's great. The Guillermo del Toro thing I think is interesting. We knew this years ago. This is not new news. If
Really?
you've been paying attention to the Star Wars world, no, Kyle, we've talked about it before.
I don't remember this at all.
Guillermo del Toro, it was greenlit that he was supposed to do it. I mean, I remember, I'm pretty sure they talked about it on Collider Movie Talk or AMC, depending on how far back it was.
Jeez, that was long ago.
Guillermo, I've heard this before, that Guillermo was supposed to do a Boba Fett gangster movie, and it would have been incredible. It would have been exactly what we wanted. It would have been unique. It would have been different. It would have been so practical effects. It would have been awesome. You're giving the king of monsters the opportunity to play in the best galaxy for monsters? Are you kidding me? That's a dream. That's a dream.
The speculation for that Mystery Del Toro movie was that it was going to be a Jabba the Hutt movie. Does that change things for you?
I just said that.
Oh, sorry, I must have missed that.
He was supposed to do a gangster Jabba the Hutt movie. No, I think.
Oh yeah, you did say that. Sorry.
You're letting him play in the best sandbox for the best creative monster guy. The planets he would have come up with. What? He would have made Goodfellas in space. Are you kidding me? That would have been awesome with the coolest creatures. It would have been great. It would have been great. Guillermo has openly talked about it. He said it was going to be Jabba the Hutt. So,
wow. Okay. He was being so mysterious about it on Twitter, so I just assumed that it wasn't. Okay, yeah, I'm sure you're right, but I just completely forgot about that.
Twitter, pal, get on the snap.
Hey, it was from Del Toro. He's like starts with a J and has two B's, and I'm like, I don't know what this means.
He's being funny because Guillermo del Toro has a sense of humor.
He does seem like a very funny guy. He'd be fun to have coffee with.
Yeah, I'd love to just sit down, have dinner with Guillermo. He'd be on the top of that director's list. I mean, for sure. Just to sit there and, you remember his Oscar speech and how he just talked about, how ever since he was a little kid, he's just think about monsters and all this stuff. And just, it would just be so cool to talk. He's such a genuine guy. He made the best version of Pinocchio that's ever existed. Yeah, I told you, Bob Iger, Bobby boy. Guillermo did it better than Walt, than you, than old Bob, than anybody.
Got him.
And it makes me sad that Guillermo del Toro feels like he can't get a movie made. He's an Oscar winner, and he's like, I can't get my movies made, and he's still. Because everybody wants sequels. Look, I want sequels. I want big budget. I also want original storytelling. And so Guillermo del Toro deserves to be able to make that his movie. He's an Oscar winner. Shape of Water's awesome. And if you don't like it, it's because you were also into the fish, and you don't want to admit it.
And you were scared.
You were scared.
You were scared of being into the fish.
And you looked over at your aquarium and you were like, yeah, not today.
Fish is swimming a little shimmy more than usual, aren't you?
Yeah, fish That fits
Hey.
Guillermo del Toro makes bangers after bangers after bangers. Prove me wrong. You can't.
No.
You
I've seen
can't.
Pan's Labyrinth.
Pan's Labyrinth.
It's
banger.
fantastic.
Shape of Water. Banger. Pinocchio. Banger. Hellboy 1 and 2. Banger.
Those are great movies.
Anyway, continue.
I'm at least happy that it wasn't a Jabba the Hutt movie that came into fruition, because you're absolutely right about Del Toro. I just don't need it to be Jabba the Hutt.
Here we go.
It could be everything else.
God,
I just don't need
Kyle
that.
sucks.
I don't need that movie. Do you really want a
Pre-COVID
movie about
Kyle
Jabba
would've
the
been
Hutt?
like-
No matter who makes it, do you really need to watch a Jabba the Hutt movie?
No, because you look at it the wrong way. Because that's what you look at. If you go up to Guillermo del Toro on your little coffee date and you say, Guillermo, if you could make any Star Wars movie, what would it be? And you like, that's anything. And he goes, I have always been fascinated with Jabba the Hutt and the world of those gangsters and those bounty hunters. I would love to make that movie. You're gonna look at him and be like, yeah, but I don't need it, Guillermo. I don't want it. And you're the studio that won't greenlight his movie right now. He walks up and he goes, this is the movie I want to make. And they're like, oh, well, I don't want to see that. So, no.
You give me a bounty hunter gangster movie all you want. Have Jabba be a side character. I don't need him to be the movie. Makes it sound like he would. At least when I hear a Jabba the Hutt movie, it sounds like Jabba the Hutt is the protagonist or the focus. That's what I hear.
My guess is the movie would have been called, like, The Hutts. And it would have been about the biggest crime syndicate in the freaking galaxy. I mean, like, you're not going to go
that
to
was the
some
Jedi.
lowlife. First of all, that was Anakin. Anakin's the only one
Clone
out
Wars
there
taught me
slaying.
otherwise.
Speaking of Clone Wars, I keep seeing clips of Star Wars film theory. No shade to the guy, but he's like, why don't we get a Clone Wars TV show? And it's like they made one.
Oh, live action? Oh my god. Guys.
No, he's just saying, that is what he's saying, but it's like, no, there's no need for it. There is an amazing Clone Wars show. It's just animated. Go check it out. It's awesome.
It also, I'm sure,
No shade.
I also don't want to give shade to the guy also, but it does come across like you're being a naysayer towards animation. Because I kind of wish the Ahsoka show was animation, so that way it could continue on in that realm. I don't mind it being live action. I'm just saying, I think it would have been fitting to continue it in animation anyway. But if you're asking for it to be remade live action, then it just sounds like you're not appreciating the animation that we got. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I'm also not trying to throw shade to anyone, but I've seen a lot of that going around after like the latest Ahsoka show, and I don't know, because it's all in our age group who have grown up watching Clone Wars, and you know, the animation, it's not good at times, but when it really hits, it's amazing. So I don't know. I just don't want people to get the wrong impression that because it was animation, like it shouldn't count or it shouldn't be appreciated, which I'm sure for a lot of people that isn't the case. They're just really excited about this Ahsoka show, but I just get that vibe at times whenever I hear something like that.
R.I.P. to Rey in Ahsoka, by the way, because
He's
the
great.
actor is phenomenal. He's gone too soon, and I literally watched those episodes and I'm like, man, I really want more of this guy. I just want more. But anyway,
He's one of my favorite parts on the show.
He's
That's for
literally
sure.
the best part. Oh, the show is very good. It's the second best to Andor. I saw somebody that said he watched Andor in black and white, and it completely changed his perspective on the show and took it from really freaking good to maybe one of his favorite shows of all time. And I can't remember if it was a critic or a filmmaker he was quoting. I had heard the quote before, and I just can't remember the name. If you know it in the comments, put it below. But he said that it was either a filmmaker, critic. I'm pretty sure it was a filmmaker. Said that you should always watch your favorite movies or shows, I think mainly movies, in black and white. Go find a version, figure it out how to do it, and watch it in black and white because it will change your perspective when you lose the color. And he showed clips of Andor, and the first comment was like, did I just watch Schindler's List in space? Because it was one of the best scenes in Andor when they're all in the community and the Andor's like pseudo mom is like getting ripped from her house and all this stuff, and it's just like that's literally what I'm watching right now. I might need to do that. Anyway, let's continue.
Interesting.
Kyle, doesn't love the Fets because, he doesn't like to mess around with gangsters.
They're scary. Gangsters
Especially
are scary.
when they're big slugs, man.
True. Nasty slug creatures.
Whoa, whoa,
whoa, whoa, whoa.
Hey, we don't talk like that at this channel, okay?
You're right. That was off.
God.
That was out of bounds. That was offline.
Kyle is awful. He's terrible. Hey, make
I don't
Kyle
recognize
great
this
again.
guy.
Make
I don't
Kyle
like this
great
guy.
Again. I'm so great. All right, make Kyle great again.
All right, Alex, I have one more Star Wars thing to throw at you. Taika Star Wars movie, rumored that it's not a thing anymore. I literally can't find any
sites of the internet.
Yeah, I know. Do we need to? We don't need to talk about it, right?
We can talk about it. I saw Harloff talking about it. And
Harloff.
it's just a continuation of this guy had a Star Wars movie, gone. This guy made a movie, rewritten. This guy made a movie, gone. Look, we get it. Disney has struggled since getting Star Wars. I think The Force Awakens is freaking phenomenal. I think it's dipped a little bit for me over the years, but I still really love it. I still think The Last Jedi is a banger, and I think a lot of the people who don't like it are invalid. I think a lot of the people who don't like it are valid. It depends on your criticism and how you come about the argument in the debate. Because Sam Witwer doesn't like it, but I know he has a really great take on. He's talked to so many people that they really wanted to see that version of Luke Skywalker, and I just like that version. I think Rian Johnson is by far the best filmmaker they've maybe had make a Star Wars movie. I still think he would probably make a banger trilogy. He's just gone on to continue to make original great content, and J.J. Abrams has done nothing because Star Wars has burned him out so much. He's not looked at favorably anymore by fans, and Episode 9 is truly awful. Obviously, I'm not a child, and kids who grow up loving them, awesome. I think that's phenomenal. I've talked about that before. As a teacher teaching little kids, I had a little kid. I always used to just text my friends, be like, the Star Wars boy's on it, because I'm obviously not going to say his name, but he just loved everything Star Wars. Eat, breathed everything Star Wars. There was no bad, and that's the best part about Star Wars. But with Taika's movie, it's whatever, man. Taika's new movie with Fassbender is getting not great reviews. It is not being loved right now. I'm still very curious to see it. I love Taika. I think Boy is great. Obviously, What We Do in the Shadows is awesome. His show on HBO, the Pirate Show, is fantastic. The What We Do in the Shadows show I haven't seen, but I hear is phenomenal. And obviously, Thor Ragnarok is great. Side note, I saw an argument by some of these young bucks who yet have more views than us, but I don't take it bitter. He's got a hot take that if you love Thor Ragnarok but you hate Love and Thunder, you're a hypocrite. Because the best change that they made for Thor was the humor, and then you complain about the humor. What do you think about that?
Wait,
his argument is
yeah.
if you love Ragnarok but hate Love and Thunder, you're a hypocrite. Because they changed the humor for Thor in Ragnarok. That's the first time we really see that level of humor, I think, from Thor the most. Because Whedon in 1 and 2 kind of keeps him as like the dumb, I don't know what's going on. I think the Russos do change it, obviously. But Taika, I think, gets the credit for changing it, the humor and the style. But then in Thor, Love and Thunder, the humor's similar, and people don't like it, and he thinks you're a hypocrite if you like Ragnarok and hate Love and Thunder because the humor's the same, nothing changed. I think the problem is the lack of really good villains are wasted in Love and Thunder. But what do you think on that?
I don't know if the humor is different in those movies. It just comes in Love and Thunder, it just comes across more dry. And I don't think it lands the same way, personally. I also think the story, while there was an end goal there, which I appreciated, I just don't think it focused very well on like the real meat of the story as good as it could have, if that makes sense. So I don't really get well, first off, calling someone a hypocrite because you like one thing but dislike another thing is dumb to me. I think that it's okay despite, liking a director that you don't like all of his stuff. So I don't see why you call someone a hypocrite for that, but the reasons for liking Ragnarok but disliking Love and Thunder, I don't think comes down to only the humor. I just think the humor isn't all that different, just one's a little drier compared to the other.
I also just think the story overall of Love and Thunder is just not nearly as good. I think I think Christian Bale's a wasted villain. He's wasted.
Yeah.
He's so good, and they could have made something so dark with him that would then the humor offsets the dark tones of him, but then also adds to the weight of when they fight because he's so serious and intense. He's supposed to be a god killer, and he stunk. It's Christian Bale. Come on, what are you doing? Anyway, Taika Waititi maybe not doing a Star Wars movie is fine. I would still love to see what his Star Wars movie would be, but he's also been talking for months about the script, and he's like, yeah, maybe I need help, maybe I don't. He's like making jokes, and I wonder if he's having a hard time writing it.
Probably.
Obviously, he shouldn't be writing it, but I wonder if if he's making something real kooky, and it's just like look, when you bring in a director to Star Wars, I think Star Wars is very different than Marvel. And I think that you need to bring in somebody who, and I'm not saying Taika's doing this. I think he might be doing that. Maybe he is. But I think you don't want to bring in someone who, you're all good, my guy. I don't think you want to bring in someone who doesn't respect where Star Wars came from, because it's a different beast. As much as we like to think that other things are past it, Star Wars will always be a different beast. So I think if Taika's just making something silly and he is trying to mess with Star Wars fans, I don't want to see that movie. I want to see Taika go in being like, I like Star Wars, I love Star Wars, he's done great work on Mandalorian. I want him to come in and be like, I want to make something that is unique and different and quirky, but I want to still do it in the vein that belongs with Star Wars. If he comes in going, I'm going to piss off all the fans, because like even Rian Johnson knew he was going to make the fans mad, but he didn't go about it with, I'm doing this to make the fans mad. He came about it as, this is going to make the fans mad, but this is the story I think is the most true to Star Wars. And to me, that's more respect than coming in the other way. Not saying Taika's doing that, but I hope he's not. Anyway, you got any thoughts?
No, not really. Like you said, with this Taika rumor, it's just a rinse-repeat pattern. So if it becomes true or winds up being true, it's frustrating, but nothing out of the ordinary, I suppose. And I don't know. Maybe at this point in Taika's career, it might not be the best fit for him to do a Star Wars movie anyway. So,
especially
I don't know.
if, the last movie he made, people didn't love. And then the next movie is apparently not getting great reviews. Obviously, I need to check it out before I judge it. But if it's two misses back to back, it's like, okay, I want to get back to my roots. But
that could happen.
Maybe that's also what he was just trying to do with this new movie. So who knows? All right, what else we got on the docket? Or is that it?
No, just one last thing. Nia DaCosta had an interview with Vanity Fair where she spoke about her time working on The Marvels, which is coming in a few months. And she was very honest about how she was feeling during the whole thing. Like at first she was skeptical, of joining the MCU, but she contacted directors like James Gunn, Waititi, Chloe Zhao, who told her like Feige's really cool to work with. I think you'd have a great time doing it. And during the production, she would feel at times getting stressed about the job itself and like not really knowing, even though she's the director, of like having an understanding of like how to set up the shot just right, so that way the VFX artist can like make whatever the actors are trying to react to look the best way possible.
Documentaries, didn't she? She did documentaries or something first, right?
I don't recall about her documentary work. I just know that she directed that new Candyman movie, and she had a movie with Tessa Thompson, Little Woods, I want to say. I'd have to double check that.
I'm gonna double check it. You finish your thought.
But yeah, and she just talked about the stresses that came apart with working on sets like that. She was mentioning that she texted other Marvel directors like Destin Daniel Cretton to relieve some of the stress, because he also relates to it quite a bit. And she even goes out of her way to admit, like, despite directing it, she knew from the get-go that this was like a Kevin Feige movie and a Kevin Feige project. And she also mentioned at the end of it too that she does believe that there is such a thing as superhero fatigue, but hopes that the Marvels can kind of counter that fatigue. So for myself, when I'm reading this and seeing all of her thoughts, I was at least appreciative of her honesty. Yeah, because I feel like a lot of times people think that just because they're a director that they have this high and mighty sense of themselves, where even directors like Nia DaCosta, who yes has become a name for herself because of Candyman and now this upcoming Marvel project.
Good.
I like Candyman, but that there's still people at the end of the day, so we should give them a little bit of grace. So I appreciated just her honesty, and I also appreciated her honesty about what it's like working on the MCU, because we've mentioned this before that at the end of the day, this is kind of like a big overspanning television series. Is a good way to like look at it. And yeah, like the directors can come in with their own spin and a little bit of their taste, but mainly Kevin Feige's the one overseeing everything and making sure everything's up to his standards. So
he's a showrunner.
Yeah, he's basically the showrunner, which I don't know. I think as we're seeing more and more of these projects, that's kind of detrimental, and they all come across the same. So I think it's nothing new, but it just kind of helps with that perspective kind of being taken a little bit seriously, I suppose. But mainly for me, I just appreciated her honesty about it, because I'm sure, especially for her who, was able to do Candyman before, like this is still very fresh into her career, and this is a very big task to do. So
a lot different than a horror movie remake. I also appreciate the honesty. She's young too. She's only in her early 30s, and I love that. I think we need more younger filmmakers coming into Marvel, because I think we need that fresh take. I don't think Marvel has superhero. I don't think there's superhero fatigue. I think there is bad content fatigue. Everything has been okay outside of maybe Guardians. Obviously, I really loved Spider-Man No Way Home. Kyle didn't like it as much as I did, but I think those are the only two things that are not TV shows that have been really good. Everything else has just been like I liked it, or it just wasn't that great, or I liked it enough. But like not there, and we knew that was going to happen after Endgame. If anyone went into after Endgame thinking we were just going to continue to get bangers, I think that we hit the end of that version of the show. It feels more like it's a spin-off now, which is
yeah,
which is okay, but it takes a while to navigate a spin-off. So I think her being real transparent and honest is awesome. She also has another uphill battle with one, people for some reason have completely changed their opinion of Brie Larson as Captain Marvel, which is not that is a task for a director to handle. Even Brie has talked about it. Like, do people even want me to play this superhero anymore? And the answer is yes, we do. She got a bad movie because it missed, and it's no shade to those directors. They just weren't ready to make that type of movie. Chloe Zhao is an Oscar-winning talent. She's incredible, and people hate her movie and act like Eternals is awful. I still really liked Eternals. I thought at least it was something new and different and daring. That's what I want now out of this cinematic universe. If we're going to do a spin-off, don't give me the same stuff. Switch it up. So I think that her being transparent is awesome. And I hope that this movie ends up being really freaking good. I keep forgetting it's coming out here in like a month and a half. But I hope it's really good, and I hope she gets to continue going and making more passion projects and more awesome stuff. She's a really, really talented filmmaker. I really liked Candyman. I haven't seen the movie with Tessa Thompson, it's got what's her face. She's also phenomenal. I just saw a picture of her and just reread her name a second ago, and then I closed the window. Lily James, but they're phenomenal. And I want to check that out now before maybe go seeing the Marvels. I'm going to add that to my watch list. But yeah, any other thoughts, Kyle?
I'm sure this article has led to a bunch of cringy YouTubers who are trying to paint her being Nia DaCosta in a bad light, and are already dogpiling on the Marvels movie to begin with because it has women in it. So
love it.
Please,
women. Big fan.
We love women
Big
here.
fan
We
of
love women.
Are you kidding me? There's nothing better than women. What are you
So,
talking about?
if you're watching this video, please don't go to those types of YouTube channels. They are trash, and they are trash
garbage.
towards women.
And they're usually
Don't listen to
sexist
them.
or racist. So
Yes.
don't go hanging out with them.
Don't be part of the dogpiling on people not liking Nia's honesty about being a director, especially being a director on something as hard as like directing 300 million budget blockbusters. Like, that's a daunting task to ask anyone. So
of people dogpiling, I'm gonna bring up Rachel Zegler again. I saw videos where it's like Disney officially fires Rachel. What? You're an
No,
idiot.
they didn't.
They didn't officially fire anybody. Her contract is up because she made the movie. We fired her because we didn't rehire her. There's an actor strike going on, my guy. It's been going on for months. All her contracts are now paused. They're nulled. What are you talking about, you sexist prick? It's ridiculous.
What's it like to be angry for no reason all the time? That has to be exhausting.
Yeah, at least when I'm angry, it's just at post-COVID Kyle.
Yeah, which is warranted. He's a real asshole lately.
I can't stand him. What are we doing? He doesn't finish the shows I ask him to finish. He's
I finished Demon Slayer. I finished Demon Slayer this week. I did.
And is it not a freaking banger?
That last battle was awesome.
Isn't it not? Now you see why I was so stressed with you, because you literally stopped like an episode before that fight starts.
I know.
It was like,
As soon as I finished,
Kyle.
As soon as I finished that episode, I was like, "Oh, okay, that's warranted."
When our boy Tengen shows back up, spoilers for Demon Slayer. When our boy Tengen shows back up, and he's like, he stopped his heart. He's like, my power finally connected. I figured it out. I can read it. And he's going nuts. Oh my god, I lose my mind all the time. All the time. I rewatch that fight because it's just that freaking good. You want to go watch real animation? It's amazing. Demon Slayer's only animation. Good. I want good animation. I don't want garbage animation. It's so... it's so good.
Yeah.
Season 3...
Soon as the guy, the demon brother pops out of the girl with the ribbons, the sister, I out loud went, "Oh shit!" Like it was the last thing I was expecting, and then he weirdly sounds like Jimmy Stewart to me, who's like down on his looks or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, I love the voice actors in the dub.
So as soon as I made that connection, I was like, "This is some good stuff." Like that. What a great show! Yeah. I would say waiting helped. I would say waiting, and then it's gotten me this hyped for it. So it was good for me to take
the next season, and I think people have unfairly bashed the following season, because the next season you do get really great battles, but so far nothing has compared to that fight, the epicness, and like the overcoming of the fact that they're all not strong enough to win, but they have to win. Blah blah blah. In the next fight, you know, we got stronger Hashira coming to back up our boys in the next fight, so it's easier a bit. Okay, so it doesn't get as epic. As I remember, Autumn and I finished it the next season, and we were like, "Man, I really like that, but it just didn't get me the way I wish it was." So go in a little bit with that kind of feel when you eventually get there, and know that it's just not going to be as like on scale epic. You're still going to get great animation and really good fights. But you're not going to get some of the same kind of big epic battle. I mean, the final fight with Tengen and I think it's Gyro, however you say his name, is so freaking phenomenal. It's some of the best animation I have seen in years for action anything. I mean, it's so good. Thank God you finally watched it, and I'm annoyed you didn't text me right away. Oh.
I figured I'd wait, so I'm glad I remembered to do it here.
I'm glad you did it live. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Kyle never finishes the shows I want on time. I'm going to amend that, on time. 2, he just hates everything I like anymore. It makes me sad. I only have my cat to talk to about all these things. I just look at Max and I'm like, nobody understands the complexities of Star Wars anymore. And he's just whining about everything. We get another Space Jesus and everyone's upset about it. It's cool. We get Space Moses. We have Space Jesus and now we have Space Moses. I like it. I do think Ahsoka would have been better as a movie. I think everything so far sucked in the theater atmosphere would really hit a lot harder.
It's just weird that those shows don't feel like they're paced like a show should be. They are paced like a movie should be. Like I watched Winning Time too, and Winning Time, granted, it like rushed towards like its finale and then it got canceled. They're like, all right, time to wrap up. I think they knew that they got canceled, but at the very least, like it does still feel like it has the structure of a show where, I don't know, every time an episode ends of like a Star Wars show, I'm like, weird time to finish, but okay.
I don't think they knew they got canceled. I think they would have sped years ahead and...
I don't know, they really... Like, second half of that season, they rush it.
No, they do rush it. Oh, you finished season 2 that fast?
Yeah,
wow,
yeah.
I didn't know you could finish shows so freaking quickly.
Winning Time's so fun.
He watched Demon Slayer like 7 months ago. He was like, I want to watch some new stuff with good animation. I was like, I have the best show for you. And then he stopped before the best freaking fight. Months ago. It's been months. He's like, I'm watching the incredible Super Spider Batman episode 52 of this show. It's like, yeah, that's a good show too, but stop. Stop, Kyle. Just watch it. Just watch it. Also, can we
Alex
start
has turned
a
to
series
drinking.
where we watch Code Lyoko with the viewers? Can we continue it and watch it with the viewers?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's
Actually, that'd be a lot of fun.
live
Let's
stream
do
it,
that.
And we'll watch Code Lyoko and just talk about it while we're watching. That'd be really cool. I just thought of that literally right now, and now I'm in. I'm in.
We could try
show.
it.
Code Lyoko was standing on. Alright, on that note, pay your actors, pay your writers. Thank you for watching, Mom. Thank you, Moonmeal patrons. Yeah, all that good stuff. Thanks, Mom.
See you guys.